In this third video, we're going to look specifically at how to use RStudio Cloud in your research and in your teaching. And I've added you all to this project, which is on RStudio Cloud, so you have access to all the files that we're going to be looking at. You also have access to this overview file that I've made. I'm not going to go through it, but everything that I've gone over in these videos is pretty much in this file, probably in more detail and with a lot of links for you. So be aware that this is available. It's got further reading and things like that. So if you want to go further, if you want to review, definitely look at this. So the first thing that I want to look at is this example research file that I've made. And when I'm doing research in RStudio Cloud, really what I'm thinking about is, can I come back to it and know what I'm doing, and can I reproduce it? And the reason that that is really important is I always want to know what my latest data or my latest analysis is, and I don't want to have to worry about what I've done in the meantime. So as I'm coding in my notebook, I'm writing myself notes, right? So in a notebook, these are notes, and this is code that's going to run. So if you're familiar with documenting code, this is a very similar idea to that. But I might also write some longer bits kind of saying this is what I'm doing, explaining my method, maybe analyzing results as I go. And these are just really basic notes to kind of give you an example on that. But what's nice about coding in this way is that if I run the entire notebook, so that means I'm going to run all of these code chunks that are here. I'm going to see it progressing through here. And the only downside with RStudio Cloud is that it's a little bit slow. So if you're doing anything with really large data, anything that's using machine learning or kind of intense as far as that goes, move down to RStudio on your laptop and do it that way. But the nice thing is I just ran all of my code, so I now have the latest graphs right here, and I know that these are the latest numbers. So a lot of my times when I'm doing research, I'm importing new data all the time. So my data is changing, and I don't want to have to go back and think, okay, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? I just want to be able to load in my new data, run my notebook, and know that this is what I've done. And I want to be able to come back in 2 months and not have to remember exactly what I did. I want to be able to trust this file and trust that when I get to the end and I look at this graph that I care about, I can trust it. And I know this is the graph, okay? So again, that's the main thing. We're not going over how to actually code or perform data analysis, just why you would do it this way. Doing it on RStudio Cloud also means you could collaborate with someone if you wanted to. A lot of times when I'm doing research in this way, I spit out the PDF. So if you hit knit right here, there's a couple options. So I can send this out to HTML or to Word or to PDF. And if I have a PDF, I now have a nice document that I can use to remember what I did. And it's combining my code and my data. So this is dynamically generated. You can generate reports for yourself. People generate entire published papers in this way, although in communication that's probably not the convention. All right, so if we start thinking about using this in teaching, the benefits of RStudio Cloud are even greater. So you can add all of your students to a project like I've done with you. Projects right now are limited to 10 people, but you can request that they bump up your access, and they gave me no problems of doing that for y'all. So the first really good thing about using this for a class is that I can edit the settings for my project, and I can choose a base project. So here's my base project for this one. And remember, I was saying that the most important thing when you're thinking about teaching is I want my students to have a consistent environment. So I want them all to be working on basically the same computer. And in addition to setting up your environment like RStudio, another issue that you'll run into is packages and libraries. So that's code collections that you're going to draw on. And what this base package does is it lets me install packages that will then be installed on automatically in all the projects in this workspace. So if I create a new project and I've installed my packages here, so tidyverse is a really useful one, and it's one that I talk about more in that overview document. but I have it installed here. So if I create a new package, my students are all going to have those packages that I've chosen installed. And that's a huge, huge benefit. Once I create an assignment, so here's my assignment example. And you'll see that when you edit the settings on your individual documents or files, projects like this, you can say that it's an assignment, right? And this is an assignment, and that just means that when you open this file, it's going to create a copy for you so that you're not editing the one that everyone's working with, you're going to be working with yours. And this is how I would recommend to set up an assignment here. I do similar things when I teach web development, in that I'm going to talk to my students, I'm going to give them instructions, I'm going to explain things to them, and then I'm going to have them write code. So right here, they would insert code to read data. They would insert code to do summary statistics. And when they're done with that, I've given you a example of this file with answers. So this is what the students would be writing. This is what the students would be writing. And when they're done, they can create a PDF out of this and submit the PDF. And when you get this PDF, it has all of their work and it has everything that they produced out of that work. So it's a really easy way for you to see both their code and the output, and you might also have them write paragraphs or sections on why this is interesting, or this is their interpretation of the visualization. So this is a really smooth workflow for your students. It gets them focusing on the data analysis, and it gets them focusing on the interpretation of the data analysis, which I assume for most of us is the important part. So again, the overview notebook that I've posted covers all of this in greater detail, and feel free to email me if you have questions.